My way, or the highway, and in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They'll deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
What's going on, everybody? Ryan Anderson, Jackson Muniz, the Gallop Out crew is back, and we are going through Memorial Day, Santa Anita Gold Cup Day out here on the West Coast. Jackson, how are you doing today? Tough sequence that we're going to get into, and of course, we'll highlight the Gold Cup, but it's not going to be a part of this late pick 5 sequence, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah, doing good. I'm doing better than I was this morning. Had a rough morning after a fun night, but yeah, got the handicap in this card, and it's really good. I know you talked about briefly the Gold Cup's maybe not great, but the late pick 5 is excellent, and I'm excited to bet it and excited to be there. It's going to be a good day of racing.
Yeah, Jackson's going to be there. I'll be there on site. Hopefully, we see our friend Gino Bucola. And yeah, I mean, we should get into the Gold Cup. Obviously, it's not a super prestigious race this year, I guess. The field didn't come up the toughest, but let's go through it real quick. Obviously, we have two-time reigning Jockey of the Year, Flavien Prat, in town, Jackson. He's going to be on Forged Steel. We don't have morning lines or post positions yet, and we'll go through it quickly. We have McVeigh just to the outside, then Subsanador, the Argentinian bred, who's won a couple graded stakes, including the California Crown in its first and only year. Malarchuk for Michael McCarthy, or at least now trained by Michael McCarthy, and then British Isles, your big cap winner. Jackson, I know you love this horse, so I'll start the conversation with you. Is British Isles winning this one, or how did you view the Gold Cup?
I don't know. I know it's only a 5-horse field, and maybe it kind of lacks the star power that we all hope for, but I do think it's very similar to big cap in that it's pretty wide open. I think you can make a case for all 5 of the runners in this race. I ultimately did not land on British Isles. I wish he had run a little bit better at Keeneland, and maybe he just didn't ship that well, but I landed on the number 3 Subsanador. He just has the back class to him. I mean, if anyone's going to run off and win this race by a few lengths, it feels like it's going to be him, because he has those races back at the end of 2024 where he got really good. Obviously, he had some issues since then, but I think the San Carlos was just a complete and total prep. Down at Oakland, he missed the break, tried to close in slow pace. Nothing went well from that day either. And now he's in with his friends. He's back in his home track. There's not a whole lot of speed in this race. It just feels like this race is right for the taking, and it might be him. I have no idea what his price is going to be, but I think I'd probably be picking him.
Yeah, I don't hate the pick whatsoever. I mean, gets back to going 2 turns at Santa Anita, which seems to be what he loves doing the most. Obviously, he had that best form in 2024. He is still a full horse. Maybe Mandela, third off the bench, can get him back. I guess I ended up on Malarchuk in here. I thought, obviously, this horse has run really well. Got switched in the McCarthy barn last time out when running at Sunland. And, ran a respectable second behind Vodka, a nice Calbred who's half siblings, running on the Saturday card for the California Gold Rush Day, I think they call it. But I'll take a tiny swing with this one. Obviously, going to be a big step up, but has a couple numbers to get back to. Again, wide open race, but one that I'm happy is outside of this pick 5 sequence, Jackson, that we're about to dive into.
Yeah, and just to add us up, Sanador, I do think it's kind of interesting that Mandela wheels him back this quickly. It's not something he does too often, and his work in between his race at Oakland and coming into this Monday, his work was tremendous the other day.
Yeah, he must be doing very well for a guy like Richard Mandela to do that. Thank you for bringing that up. That is an important point. All right, let's get into the late pick 5, and we're going to have our pick 5 ticket scrolling across the bottom. Jackson, we got to start with the grade 1.
Wow.
I know.
I don't know if I've ever had a more expensive ticket than you. This is a first for us in the 2.5 years we've been doing this show.
It is incredibly rare. Has it been 2.5 years already? Goddamn. All right.
I don't know.
9 furlongs on the grass. It's been something like that.
No, it's been a year and a half.
Year and a half? No. What? Yeah, I don't know, year and a half. Yeah,
Almost two.
Almost two. Anyway, all right, race number 6. Going a mile and an eighth on the grass at Santa Anita. 3-year-olds and upwards, the fillies and the mares. Grade 1, obviously, we don't have post positions, but we are going to go through, and we're going to start, or I will start, I guess. No, I went 5-8. Jackson going with the 7. So, Jackson, you were against thought process last time. I was also against thought process last time. Noah Maher was also against thought process last time, and she made us look foolish. I wasn't going to get fooled again. I felt like she came back strongly to start her 4-year-old season, but you ended up with Rashmi, who had a nice comeback win after over a year away from the races.
I did, and part of that is because I'm a little surprised at the discrepancy in the morning line. It's not on DRF yet, but it was posted on X, I believe. She's 9-2, and thought process is 7-5, and that kind of surprises me. And I wonder if she's actually, maybe she'll go off closer to more like 3-1, 5-2 come post time. But I just don't think there's that much separating the two. I mean, Rashmi has run very, very well, especially last year when she got good in the winter time against some good horses. I know she didn't hit the board in the American Oaks, but she did not get the trip that she desires. She went up against some monsters, and she was pretty. Kathy and Marissa, Medoro, all those horses would be favored, I think, in this race. And then when she was getting her preferred trips in those races, she ran extremely well and running every bit as fast as thought process is running as of late. The comeback was good. It wasn't, she did what she was supposed to do. The field was not great, but we saw what we needed to see from her. She's got to stretch out to 9 furlongs. I don't think there's a whole lot of speed in this race outside of thought process. And I don't anticipate Barrios and Kimura getting into some kind of battle. I would imagine one's going to go, the other's going to sit right off of it. And I think there's a very real chance those two kind of just merry-go-round around there. And at 9 furlongs, I just trust Rashmi a little bit more.
Hey, that's fair. I mean, she's certainly got, I think, maybe a little bit of a deeper resume with how long of a campaign, if I can find my words, that she had last year compared to just 3 races on the docket for thought process in her 3-year-old season. What did you say the morning line was on thought process?
7-5. And I feel like she could go lower than that too. I mean, she always takes money for very good reason.
She does take a lot. I am very happy that this is the first leg of the pick 5, because if she's, odds on in here, I'm not going to, I would have to single her at that point, I think, just in terms of equity. But the last horse that we talk about is to the far outside and Mayday Ready. And I liked that effort last time she had in the Royal Heroine, where she closed into a really slow pace that day behind Take a Breath. Take a Breath obviously was the winner in there. Grand Slam Smile, who ran 3rd, the ever consistent Calbred that also runs back this weekend. But I thought that comeback effort was good. And obviously she's got to take a step up on the numbers, but we can see this sort of progression from the Richard Mandela barn, and has worked very strongly out of that last race. And I wouldn't be surprised to see yet another step forward for this 4-year-old filly. So she's one that I feel like we maybe haven't seen her ceiling yet. She's kind of, she's been well-traveled, I would say, and has run into some stiff competition along the way. But I think if the pace maybe sets up for her a little bit, she can run better than her recent figures suggest.
Yeah, she's always been a bit of a quirky horse. I mean, she creates some problems for herself. When she decides to show up, she's very good. And who else would you rather be in the hands of than Richard Mandela to try to get her to put it all together? So if she does take that step forward, second on the bench, she's very capable of winning this race.
She certainly is. So I'm going 5-8. Jackson singling the number 7 Rashmi, who at that morning line price, I cannot blame you there. Next up, we're going 5.5 panels, $12,500 claimers for 3-year-olds and upwards on the main track. I am going 2, 7, 8, 9. Jackson just going with the 2, 8. So we're going to start towards the inside. The big Chizola, last time won at 6 furlongs, cuts back to half furlong. Jackson, this is one I would expect to see on the front end, and you'd hope just the cut back of a half furlong helps.
Yeah, I think I gave you the wrong number. It's supposed to be 3-8 in here, but
hey, now
I don't mind. Yeah, I know. It's difficult. It's tough.
It's okay.
First of all, how is this horse? How was this horse 6-1 last time? Well, I will never understand. It made no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, that was a huge overlay last time out. I completely agree. Seeing 6-1 on a horse that has all kinds of form going this distance against this level of competition, I mean, it was it was one of those head scratching, odds board reads that you see.
Yep.
So we'll go to the outside then. Obviously in a good vein of form right now. And again, is competitive at this level. And I think the 5.5 is only going to help. I'd expect Luis Batista to just send out of there as fast as he possibly can. And I think the extra cut back to the 5.5 is just going to be a benefit. And I know there is some other pace in here, but if somebody else beats him to the punch, he's also proven he can come from just off of it. So I do think he's a little bit versatile, and he is consistent at this level. Even though he is taking a step up, I do think that starter 62.5 is comparable to who he's going to face here. And he's, run competitively at the claiming levels before, including a win at this level last October. But now we'll go to you, Jackson. One smoking dude, Librado Baraccio and Tiago Pereira are teaming up for this one, dropping out a state-bred optional claiming company.
Yeah, I just like that he's getting some class relief here. There's no doubt this is an easier spot than the last few fields he's been running up against. And, second off the claim for Baraccio. I thought he ran well last time, too, against that field to finish second. With a little bit of trouble early on, I think he's capable of being a little bit more forwardly placed than we've seen from him as of lately. I'm not saying he's going to be up on the front, but I don't think he's going to be dead last going into the far turn. And he's run plenty of speed figures that are fast enough to win this race. So if he can work out some kind of trip from towards an inside draw, I think he can be pretty dangerous.
Yeah, I certainly think he could be. He's one I gave a look to. Librado's barn has cooled off a little bit, but certainly could still bounce back at any point there. Well, the next
he's
one
going to start heating up.
Yeah, he should. It's almost Del Mar season, and last year he couldn't seem to lose at Del Mar. Next one we'll go to Tiz's Harbor, one I wanted to include on my tickets for Isidro Tamayo. This one just has some back numbers, and I know they came at Emerald for the most part, but if he can get back to some of that form, he absolutely fits versus this group. I don't think it's I don't know how you would equate. I do think that's a pretty substantial class drop as I again trip over myself here, but I feel like he's going to be a bettable price. It worries me though, Jackson, that his four best numbers actually all came at Emerald Downs, and now he has to come back here and do something like that. So that's the part where it's a little bit hard to trust, but I do think he's going to be a very bettable price, and one I definitely wanted to include because he's plummeting in class.
He is. I was with you in being worried that his best races all came at Emerald. And you can see his form last spring. He was running some pretty slow figures at Santa Anita and then instantly jumped up when he switched over to Emerald. Now, he was also a 3-year-old, so he could have just been getting better and better as he got older. And I would imagine he's going to be a bit of a price. So you're going to get paid if you're right. I think he's a decent gamble.
Yeah, he'll certainly be on my tickets. Another one that's going to be on both of our tickets is Instinct Doro for Sergio Morphine and Jockey Flores. What'd you like about this one coming out of the quarters at Los Al?
I just feel like he has a chance to be the speed of the speed. And I know this is a field of 9 of sprinters, but I don't know if this pace is necessarily going to be crazy on the front end. I know the Big Chizola is quick, but he's not like lightning fast. I think this horse could be lightning quick. And if you look at that race back in October at in August at Del Mar, that was probably a better field than the field he's going to face on Monday. I know it's $8,000 claimers. This is 12.5. But the Del Mar fields are always much tougher. Everyone's trying to win at Del Mar. The fields they're just better. And I thought he ran really well that day. He was always in a tough spot. He's between horses, never had a breather at any point, and ran really well in defeat when the pace kind of really came apart. And I think maybe that's kind of what happened the next time out at Los Al when he just didn't run. He was favored, didn't show up. And then he saw the big gap after that, the big layoff. And he came back at Los Al, had some time to recuperate. There he's in for the waiver tag, and he ran that field off their feet. Why can't do the same thing here? But getting back to Santa Anita, outermost round speed, I think he can take this field a long way.
Yeah, I don't disagree at all. He's certainly one I thought from that outside post position going the 5.5 definitely posed a big threat. You love the 2 wins from the 3 tries out at Santa Anita as well. So certainly one I wanted to use. I also threw in the number 9, I believe, on my tickets as I'm looking through. That's the Far Outside and Dirty Words. This is one that can come from off the pace. And, we've talked about a couple on the pace runners. And if they really do kind of heat things up, certainly if he goes back to the that 10,000 non-3 lifetimer that with Doug, or even the race prior to that. I mean, this horse is going to win in an absolute canter. Has obviously come back to earth a little bit, as you'd expect from these restricted claimers, but he's still running very respectable races, and he's still running in those consistent mid to high 60s. Last time out, that was an okay second here, and they didn't really fly that first quarter, and the pace relatively held together. So I thought if they go a little bit faster, he's still got some of that back form to get to. Not sure the price we're going to get, but I was comfortable enough going 4 deep here in the pick 5, Jackson. And yeah, once again, we have some different opinions, and you have a more expensive ticket than me, which I don't think I've ever seen.
I had no idea what to do with him, because he did run well last time. You see those giant numbers in his back form, but he also beat Hot Chicks Only by half a length, and Hot Chicks Only is probably going to be 20-1 in here, and he might be like 4-1, 3-1. Like, I just didn't know what to do. There's such mixed signals with this horse.
Yeah, I think you bring up a great point there with just the odds discrepancy that you're going to see. This one has been, if not the favorite, under 3-1 or under in each of his last 6 starts. So he always does take money. I wonder, though, if without having a win recently going back to January, I wonder if maybe he drifts up a little bit and he provides a little more value on the win end. We'll wrap up race number 7 one more time. I'm going 2, 7, 8, 9. Jackson going 3, 8. We're going to move on to the grade 1 Shoemaker Mile. But first, for those of you that might have be looking at these DRF past performances and think, maybe you're a little bit new to racing and it's just a lot to take in at the start, which I know it certainly was for myself when I got into racing. Jackson, I'm sure you had similar opinions, because when you first look at these past performances, it can look like hieroglyphics. And obviously we use DRF, our partner, to dive into these races, and they've recently released something called DRF Newbie. So I want to show everyone a quick video on that, because it helps to bridge that gap between the new player, the experienced handicapper. So check it out.
Think horse racing is too complicated? Think again.
And they're off.
Every pro was a newbie once. Meet DRF Newbie, the mobile tool loaded with daily racing form data and the power of DRF AI.
Quarter stock out.
Get the insights you need fast, so you can play smarter and feel more confident. DRF Newbie, horse racing made simple. Try it free today. Visit newbie.drf.com.
There we go, DRF Newbie, and be sure to check it out. And Jackson, even for us, I would imagine that we're in the paddock at Del Mar for this summer for any races, maybe even this weekend at Memorial Day at Santa Anita. We're going to be checking out on DRF Newbie just to get that refresher, because we can't, have the full-on racing form. We can't pull out the laptops in the paddock, but a quick glance at something like that, it helps the experienced player just get them. It's almost like the Spark Notes version, but then for the new player, it really does help to bridge that gap in the understanding, because there is so much that goes into the game that we love.
Yeah, it's probably a good tool if you, like I said, if you're minute to post and you need a speed cap real quick, that's probably a good way to do it.
Absolutely. We'll continue on now with the late pick 5, and it's the grade 1 Shoemaker Mile. They're obviously going a mile on the grass for the 3-year-olds and upward. El Patente down on the rail. Formidable Man coming out of the Breeders' Cup Mile. That's going to be my single in this sequence. Jackson, however, you're going to go towards the outside in the 3 and the 4. King of Gosford and Genius Jimmy. We're going to start the conversation with you. King of Gosford for Phil D'Amato comes in here. Has kind of adjusted his running tactics as he's gotten older and has shown some ability to come from off the pace.
Yeah, look, I have no issue with Formidable Man whatsoever. He's going to be a strong favorite in here for good reason. He was sensational last year in the Breeders' Cup Mile. I just wonder, well, one, he's going to be overbet, first of all, especially in the pick 5. I mean, he's going to be on every single ticket, and it feels like if you are playing the bet like the pick 5, this is the separator leg. Like this is where everyone's either going to have Formidable Man, or if not, they're going to go towards those lower choices like Almendaris or El Patente. And if I can get outside of that box of those 3 horses, I think this pick 5 is going to pay much, much higher than it should. And I think the horses I have a pretty good shot as well with King of Gosford. Look, he beat Formidable Man and several others in the Shoemaker Mile in this race last year when he won and was getting really good. Now, obviously something happened in the Del Mar Mile when he was beaten 14 lengths and not seen again for several months. But I thought that the American Stakes was the perfect comeback race. He kind of went forward, looked kind of keen, never looked super comfortable, but didn't run bad. I mean, he kind of just ran evenly and ran like he needed a race. And if you look back last year, they did a very similar thing where they prepped him off the layoff in the American, came back in the Shoemaker, and we saw a much improved performance. And I think that could be the case again on Monday. And he's going to have to. He has to improve off that last race to be competitive. But with him being 10-1 on the morning line and having a race or two that is fast enough to win, I think it's a pretty good price on him.
I would think so too. I'm not going to talk you off of a horse like King of Gosford, who has a lot of back numbers to get to. Before we get to Genius Jimmy, yeah, Formidable Man certainly looks to be that. I would imagine the favoritism is going to be one of these two to the inside, probably to Formidable Man over El Potente.
It's going to be Formidable Man. There's no
like I certainly agree. I do think that El Potente is going to take a bit of money. I don't know how short Formidable Man's going to get. Maybe is 6 to 5 around where you think? Or do you think he could go lower?
He could go even money, I think. I mean, especially after Notable Speech. He won last week, right?
He did. He won last weekend. After I feel like the Maker's Mark Mile at Keeneland, you can almost draw a line through it at this point with Rhetorical coming back to run so well. Notable Speech. That seemed to be a very oddly run race.
It was
spring at Keeneland. So, look, Formidable Man obviously running second behind Notable Speech. And Jackson, you sent a text in the group chat to remind us. But Formidable Man had the trip of death in the Breeders' Cup Mile. Yeah. I mean, was wide both turns, still managed to finish in second. And he does love Del Mar. There's no getting around that. He was undefeated over the turf course there up until that second place finish in the Breeders' Cup Mile. And one could argue that given the difference in trips between Notable Speech and Formidable Man that day, it could have easily been Formidable Man to get the job done had, he saved maybe a little bit more ground and gotten the trip than Notable Speech did. But either way, off that form, coming back from Michael McCarthy, certainly should get a strong run of things. I couldn't get around this horse. I'm okay singling. I just thought this horse was going to be too tough to beat. El Potente does, I think, concern me a little bit. Genius Jimmy is a horse, though, as I turn it back to you, who's kind of really found that form since stepping into stakes company his last two.
He has, and the other thing is he's also trained by Michael McCarthy, and it's like the old saying, why enter two if one will do? If you got a horse that's supposed to be even money here, what are you entering this horse for? And I do think he deserves a shot in this race. The Santa Anita, man, he was huge in there. The speed completely held together, and he was still getting to those horses late at the wire in a distance that's just too short for him. And then last time the American, I thought he ran well in that race as well. The pace wasn't super hot or anything, but the pace setter did finish last, and it was a horse that won like 5 races in a row. And I did think he had to move probably a little sooner than he maybe wanted to on the turn when he got a challenge to his outside. And I kind of thought watching that race, he was about to get swallowed up top of the stretch, because he kind of gets, there's like a line of 4 that had all the momentum that kind of went by him almost. And then all of a sudden he just re-rallied and just was super gritty, fought all the way to wire to just be beaten by a neck. And the other thing, Ryan, is he's improved on the Beyer speed figures in his last, 5, 6 starts. He's done nothing but get faster and faster and faster. If he takes another small step forward in this race and get to like 97, 98, isn't that good enough to win this race? It feels good. And he's going to get a good trip too with El Potente and Call Me Corey probably going at each other. He's going to sit third right behind him. So I'm going to use him in the pick 5, but I'm going to bet him to win as well. He's 20-1 on the morning line. I don't know if he's going to hold up. I would bet him at like 8-1 even. Like I think he's got a pretty good shot.
I think you get double digits on him. I just think that there is going to be a lot of money that goes towards the inside too. I wonder how much money Almendarez takes, who did beat Genius Jimmy and SEAL Team and some others last time out. But as you see, looking through the past performances, this is not a horse that loves to get his picture taken and find the winner's circle. He kind of won. Noah put it greatly, yes, on yesterday's show that, Genius Jimmy kind of won all the battles, and Almendarez ended up just kind of taking the war and found himself in the winner's circle there by the end of it. And I don't think he's a horse that you would want back. Mi Hermano Ramon has kind of gone off form a little bit. But what do you
do with El Potente? How come you don't have him in the picks anywhere? What's your concern?
For me, it was either I could either take Formidable Man or I could try and spread and beat him. I could use both the 1 and the 2. That would be irresponsible even for me in the way I play some of my tickets. Look, El Potente, he certainly concerns me the most, especially if we were to go look at time form If you look at the time form figures, he's run in the 120s. Obviously, Formidable Man has been consistently kind of in the mid to high 120s. Nobody else really gets all that close, although King of Gosford certainly has some back numbers to get to. Genius Jimmy continues to trend upwards, so you kind of like to see that trajectory. But I did think just on proven form, El Patente is the one that scares me the most because I don't know. I wanted to ask you what you thought of that last race with him coming from off the pace. I don't think that that's going to be his new tactic by any means, but I do think that he's shown the ability to come from just slightly off of it, and obviously he came from well off of it last time in the kill row. But he doesn't need the lead anymore, and I do think that makes him a much bigger threat. And he drew really nicely to the inside because if Call Me Corey and Mike Smith do just send like a banshee to get the lead, I think El Patente can just sit in the rail right off that, right behind that speed and kind of get first jump on everybody else.
Yeah, my thing was I know he ran well last time. I felt like he was supposed to win that race, though, when they turned for home and he was out wide and Final Boss was trying to come up the inside. It felt like a race he was supposed to win, and he didn't. And I feel like he's at his best when he's able to control things. And with the presence of Call Me Corey on the outside, I don't see how this horse gets loose up front. If they duel, I don't think he's going to be as good. And if he has to sit second, I don't think he's quite as good. And it feels like he's just always overbet based on that one giant race in the Thunder Road last year. And none of his last 4 races since coming back off the layoff, while they've been good, they haven't been that good to that level where he deserves to be such a short price. So I'm against him in here. If Call Me Corey were to scratch, that would change his race completely, and
I agree.
He might become a single at that point.
I agree. If Call Me Corey were to scratch, I would flip from singling Formidable Man to singling El Patente, because I think it puts us right back in the Thunder Road situation where he had no other speed to contend with, and he was just able to go to the lead and call it a day. So I'm with you on that. That would certainly be the way to pivot should things go that way. But as it stands right now, I like Formidable Man. Jackson, you're going with the 3-4. You're going King of Gosford and the other McCarthy, Genius Jimmy, be Genius Jackson if that horse gets the job done. We'll move on. Race number 9, 5.5 furlongs once again on the main track, 3-year-olds and upwards. It's state bred, optional non-winners of one other than. I'm going 2-4. Jackson is going as I wait for it to scroll 2, 7, 8, and 11. So we'll start with the 2, Jackson. That's Refocus for Team Doug O'Neill. Forgot to mention, I think Shane O'Neill owns about 5% of Genius Jimmy. So, if Genius Jimmy wins,
perfect.
A little bit of an emotional victory there for all of us. But you like Refocus, gets back to sprinting on the dirt where his strongest number on the page is. That's kind of why I wanted to include him, Jackson. Obviously, I don't trust him to necessarily get back to that form, but if he does run back to that one sprint effort on the page on the main track, he is going to be a major threat.
Yeah, I think you can tell Doug this horse wants to sprint. It's pretty apparent at this point that he's just not a horse that wants to run 2 turns. And I get why they're running him 2 turns. It was to keep him protected, obviously. But he's run very well sprinting. This is class level he's been very effective at. And for as large as this field is, it's not like there's a ton of speed in this race. I didn't think. I mean, did you think there's a lot of speed?
I didn't think so. I thought if Edwin Maldonado, the Candyman, wanted to get the lead, I think he could.
Right, he's at least going to be forward. Like maybe he won't be in front, but he's going to be within a length or 2. And when he is a length or 2 close to the pace, he's been very effective throughout his career. Yeah,
I 100% agree. That was something that stood out to me. Certainly, especially a guy like Edwin who's never going to take speed away from a horse.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I thought this race was extremely difficult, and I just used a bunch of horses that I thought could win. And it's even more tough without the morning lines.
Yeah, it is. Wait till I start counting out to 7 and number 11. I'm gonna mess that up for sure. I'll go quickly to See Through It. Peter Miller, Joel Rosario team up. This one just has a lot of back races to get to and is dropping in class and needs the pace. I think it needs a little bit of that speed up front to kind of develop in order to get his best run. But hey, Joel Rosario has been really nice since coming out to California. He's kind of refound some of that confidence that I think he might have lost somewhere along the way. A little bit ago, but he seems to be back to his old self. If he gets back to those races at Santa Anita, just going back to January of this year, maybe he doesn't even need the pace. I know he's closed into a lot of fast ones, but he's also closed into some slower ones when sitting a little closer. The distance is a little bit of a concern. He hasn't run 5.5 in quite some time, but Again, if the pace even remotely materializes up front, he's got a wicked late kick for a dirt horse, and he's faced so much better recently. I mean, 3 back, he lost to Cornucopian. Red Flag, he finished second to. So I do think he's the class of the field, and certainly the horse to beat from that standpoint.
I love this horse. He's so cool that he's been around this long, but I'm just worried that he's done. I mean, he's done nothing but regress, and now they're dropping pretty far. That worries me.
Yeah, this is the off the cliff angle for Peter Miller, which sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. We'll see. Maybe he's got enough left in the tank. This 9-year-old, he could have been named Geezer, but he's not. We'll go to Cody Boy, number 7. Yes, I think I counted that correctly. Victor Espinosa and Javier Sierra team up for this one. What'd you like about this run?
Just a horse that has some tactical speed and has run some of the best speed figures, probably the best speed figures as of late. And last time he ran into is it Tapolo? I don't know. I never know how you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that horse just got away with a pretty easy lead that day and was able to beat that field. I thought he ran fine in there. And if he gets a little bit of pace in front of him, he's not going to be that far off of it. He can make some noise against this group.
Yeah, he certainly could. We'll keep it going right to the outside. The GM, another one that you like, Jackson. This one has been chasing some hot paces, but has also been up close to some hot paces. So where do you picture this one early on in the races?
Probably forward as well. And I lost way too much money on him last time when I thought he was going to beat that field. He went forward. I was trying to try to clear the field. It just never really happened. And he was kind of wide. And it was kind of a weird race where I thought on the turn, or at the quarter pole, that he was kind of just going to wrap up and he was going to be done. But he stayed on a lot longer, a lot better, I should say, than I thought he would. And it feels like he would probably move forward with that race under his belt. So he's another one I decided to use as well.
Yeah, he certainly could take another progression forward. Last one, we'll talk about the number 11 Supernal, also for Team O'Neill. Gets back to the dirt where, again, he's had some really strong races. And this, Jackson, starts the late double, middle leg of that late pick 3. Certainly, I think the most competitive race on the card that we're going to cover today.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's really difficult. A lot of them can win, and like you said, he's got plenty of back dirt races to run too. His form recently is good. Second on the bench, he should take a step forward as well. And I'd like to see horses show speed off the bench. Maybe they don't necessarily have to win, but it shows that they still have some ability. I think so. That was a good sign last time. Yeah,
it definitely does. He's one that if he continues to kind of progress and show that consistent form on the dirt, I think he does have some races at 5.5 that definitely contend here. That'll wrap up race number 9. Oh, go ahead.
It's not a race I'd want to bet in a contest. It's brutal.
Yeah, I have definitely a race in a contest that would give.
If anyone else likes a price, let me know. I want to use them.
This guy Noah in the chat. Yeah, El Patente sucks when he sits second. Only earned a career best 104 buyer, 125 time form. #wrong.
Is that the guy from Twitter?
This guy?
I think I saw someone. I think he got called a 12-year-old last week on Twitter. So
I think so too. And it reminds me though. But hey, whether he's little bro or new to the game, it helps everybody that DRF has released DRF Newbie. So be sure to check that out. I'm not going to play the video again right now. I'll play it after we wrap up race number 10. But if you're someone like Noah Maher, be sure to check out DRF Newbie because we could all use some experience there. And obviously this is all a joke because Noah's a very good friend of ours. For anybody that's watching this for the first time, we're not just drafting a random guy. So anyway, race number 10, 6.5 furlongs on the grass, 3 to 5-year-olds for the state bred maidens. Jackson, you are going 2, 8, 9, 11, 12. I am going 6, 8, 9, 11. So we do have some similarity here. We're going to start with you throwing heat. We're throwing a little bit of shade, but as Noah, I'm surprised he got the Benchwarmers reference. I think that was after he was born. But to end the pick 5, Jackson, we'll start with you throwing heat.
Look, this is another race I didn't have a huge opinion on. My opinion in this race is I'm going to continue to bet against Big Bill for as long as he continues to lose. And eventually he's going to find a field that he's good enough to beat, and maybe it is his field. But, I mean, he's burnt so much money to this point. Like, I'm perfectly fine with him beating me, and he's probably going to be a favorite again in this race. So I was against him. I was against a couple of the other firsters that I would anticipate taking some money in Town Idol with JJ Hernandez riding, and the Urton horse whose name is Moment of Valor, number 6. And then I just used all the other horses I think are going to be decent mid prices, and hopefully one of them wins. So Throwing Heat's one of them. He kind of made a really wide move actually into a fast pace last time, which is an angle I like quite a bit. And he stayed on really well at 38-1. And the stretch run was kind of goofy too. It's kind of looked like he was still figuring things out. So third start off the layoff, he's one I would use.
I like it. He's one that I gave a slight look to just on that cutback, as you mentioned, going Tim Librato once again. Number 6, Moment of Valor, one that you're going to not be using on your ticket. I will be using on my ticket. I thought this horse was a little bit interesting. I haven't, full disclosure, haven't been able to watch the works yet. So I know there's a bullet, but that doesn't always necessarily mean that the horse had an A workout or anything crazy, but I do like the Army Mule first time starters. I do think the Calbred aspect to that just kind of emphasizes, because at the end of the day, he is a sire that you often see with some first time starters out in Kentucky at Churchill. So he definitely has that level of precocity there. Peter Urton, Hector Barrios, when they team up, they have a lot of success together. 27% over the last year, above a $2 ROI. So one in a wide open race, I definitely wanted to include. Board is going to tell the story here for sure on, I think, a few of these firsters, Jackson. Next one, though, we'll go to the 8. Oh, go ahead.
Just on the 6, the reason I was against him is in the Tapeta work I saw, which was back in April, he was pretty clearly outworked by a horse that did win the other day, but won in a 12-5 claimer. So I was not super thrilled about that.
Okay. No, that's good info. Again, I got to watch the rest of the works, but he's one that I think I'd still like to include. Going Nowhere for Ryan Hansen, Welf and Orontes. This is one that you wanted to include, Jackson, as did I on the pick 5 to end the day.
Yeah, speed with cutbacks. With the cutback angle is something I always like, especially going the 6.5. And he drew well. I think with cutbacks especially, I'd rather have them be drawn outside, because they're probably not going to be as sharp from the gate as some of these other horses that have been sprinting. So he's one I would use as well, because his speed figures are better than a horse like Royal Rumor, who I'm also going to use, who ran well last time, was on a fast pace and got a little tired late, but he did get the best of the speeds and was run down by the favorite who came from the clouds. So he's interesting too.
Yeah, Royal Rumor, who we'll talk about next, one that you and I are both going to include. Carla Gaines, of course, races them into shape as they go along, but she seems to always take money at the windows, especially in these Calbred maiden races. And she really, or this horse, I guess, really hasn't. Definitely didn't in the first start. Maybe took a tiny bit in start number 2 and losing to Jimmy Winkfield. Shout out to Jimmy Winkfield, but was up on a hot pace that day. Did run an improved race. Maybe third start, Jackson, can be the time. I wonder what price we're going to get on this 4-year-old.
Probably close to what he was last time, I would think. I think Big Bill has to take money. Like, he's going to be 2-1 again.
I would think so. And Big Bill does nothing but finish in second or third. He is one that I'm with you, Jackson. He can meet the right field on Monday, but he's not going to be on my tickets because a lot of times he's just does not get the job done. Last one we'll talk about, number 11, No Joke and Terrace. Coming back, a little bit of that kitchen sink angle, cuts back to the sprint, first time gelding, or as I think Noah said the other day on a show, cut the sack. Was the way he described that one, and first time Lasix for Sean McCarthy, Tyler Bass.
Yeah, his one grass race was really good. I mean, Third Beer is a nice stakes quality Calbred right now, and that 61 buyer in August as a 2-year-old is kind of what these horses are running today, except for maybe Big Bill. So if he's able to run back, or if he's able to improve off of that off the bench, he's arguably the horse to beat. It's a big if, obviously. He hasn't been seen since, but if he does, if he's 8-1 or something, like, he's probably the win bet in this race.
I wouldn't necessarily disagree with that, because if he does come back and he's grown up from 2 to 3, a mid 2-year-old now to a 3-year-old. Now, that was the slowest 2-turn turf race at Del Mar last summer.
Ever.
Ever. Thank you. I was going to say, I thought it was the last 5 years ever. 140 and change was not flying.
But it's come back a good race. Like, Third Beer is good.
A really good race. So maybe the turf
Unrivaled
is playing weird that
Unrivaled Time came back and won a grade 3 a couple starts later. Like, that was For whatever reason, the track might have been really slow that day, but the field was good.
The field was good, and the field has come back since to do very good things. So certainly a bit of an anomaly in there, just something fun to point out. But seems to be coming back the right way. Looks like this horse was gelded in or around February, so has had almost 3 months or a little over 3 months to have, that gelding kind of set in. So any of the AEs interest you at all, either the 13 or the 14? For me, the answer was no.
Well, I did use a 12, who I actually liked way back in February.
Oh, you did use the
12. Based on his works leading up to that race. He scratched out of there, obviously, but I have to bet him back here if I liked him in that spot. I don't know what happened, and I don't know why he scratched, but hopefully he's doing better now, and he's another one that is probably going to be a price.
Host fail. Forgot to let you finish off with the 12 there, but you got your point in. Fantastic. Yep. Jackson going 2, 8, 9, 11, 12. I am going 6, 8, 9, 11 to end the pick 5. One more look through the tickets as we wrap this show up. I went 5, 8 with 2, 7, 8, 9, singling Formidable Man, then 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 11, $32 ticket. Jackson is going to single the 7 Rashmi to start things off. Then going to go 3, 8 with 3, 4. That's King of Gosford and Genius Jimmy in the Grade 1 Shoemaker Mile. Then going to go 4 deep, 2, 7, 8, 11 in the penultimate race, and then followed up 2, 8, 9, 11, and 12 in the State Bred Maiden race. Good show, Jackson. Very competitive sequence. It's not often that you and I will cover a pick 5, and you'll have a ticket anywhere above like $12, let alone more expensive than me. So hopefully we're both right. And I don't know how we could both be right. We need a couple dead heats, I think, along the way, but we'll see.
Hopefully one of us is right and we can go to Outback after Monday night.
That's true. We're going Outback no matter what. But
high rollers over here.
Yeah, exactly. That's the place we live at. But thank you guys for watching. That was a fun pick 5 sequence for Memorial Day. Be sure to check out Pacific Horse Players. They covered the Gold Rush Day for Saturday at Santa Anita. Big West Coast day for racing, so we got to promote it the best we can. As we get out of here, for Jackson Muniz, Ryan Anderson, thank you guys for watching. I'll play the DRF Newbie video one more time for people like Noah Maher in the chat, just to kind of refresh and gain that experience that everyone can benefit from. So check it out, and thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.
Think horse racing is too complicated? Think again.
And they're off.
Every pro was a newbie once. Meet DRF Newbie, the mobile tool loaded with daily racing form data and the power of DRF AI.
What a shocker!
Get the insights you need fast so you can play smarter and feel more confident. DRF Newbie, horse racing made simple. Try it free today. Visit newbie.drf.com.